Hey, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Yeah, nice blue sky peeking through after quite a few little showers this morning, which was nice. It kept everything very cool. And it's warming up here in the afternoon, probably about 82 degrees. But I know as far as a lot of you guys out on the mainland, you probably kill for 82. So today we've got a great review to do. We're going to look at a 1800 watt portable power station by OUPES, and it's pretty neat, and it's got me rethinking some things about the possibility of little standalone systems. So let's go take a look at it. Yeah, so here it is. This is the 1800 watt portable power station by OUPES, and they sent me out this unit the other day along with 240 watts of solar panels that fold up into a little briefcase style carrying pouch, which is quite nice. It is currently charging right now, and I have been running this through some tests before I started this review. And last night I did run it down to absolute zero, and hopefully you'll see that with the sun on it, but I'm not sure. I can't see it with my eyes. It says 42% and full and 48 watts coming in, and those 40 or 55 watts now are coming in from that set of solar panels, and they fold up nicely into their own little carrying case. And in the back here you can see they have these little kickstands that pop out behind every single panel, so you can adjust it towards the sun. And then when you fold it back up, they simply just fold back up against the panel and attach with Velcro. They just have a little strap down there at the bottom to hold them in place. Super easy. Just unfold it on the ground, pop them up into place, and you'll be charging your station. And right there, I think you'll be able to see that. I'm having to shade this. That little screen out in the sun is very difficult to see, but right here with a little bit of shade, you can see 140, or excuse me, 100 and, well, it did say 180 some watts coming through there, but and 43% full. You can see that little fan kind of a design swirling there at the bottom, shows you that it is charging. And there you can see the wattage is fluctuating, of course, with those clouds like they do out here. But there we go, charging very well. It's been out here for hours. It hasn't been the best charging day. A lot of intermittent sunshine like we get. Comes with 3 AC outlets, and it does have a on-off switch for when you're going to run anything like that. AC, you want to push that on and turn it on, and it will give you another display. And right there, it just shows a little AC display, and then I'll turn it back off since we're not running anything. And it's the same thing over here on the DC side. You've got a couple of USB-A terminals, a couple of USB-C, and 2 barrel type 10 amp 12 volt outlets, as well as the cigarette lighter style. So it has a total of 10 discharging ports, 3 AC, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So pretty nice. And then we have the solar panels plugged into these barrel receptacles here. This is the cable that comes off that suitcase solar panel array. It's about 20 feet long, so you have some room to work with it. I would recommend you don't leave this out in the weather as much as possible. The black case gets extremely hot in the direct sun, so I would at least shade it, and I certainly wouldn't let it get real wet in any kind of rain. I'd move this under some kind of cover or indoors even better. And the solar panels, they say a lot of the same thing. It can tolerate a little bit of moisture. They have been out there all morning getting sprinkled on. I let that go, but if it was going to be a big storm, I wouldn't leave those solar panels out either. So that's just kind of a little reminder there. And you could run a second string of panels into here. It'll take up to 480 watts of solar. So if you had two of those little suitcase units, you could plug the other one into right here. And I could take this one and plug it into there. So both of these are charging ports, you know, labeled input. And let's see what we're doing now. Yeah, we're not getting much sun right now. But anyway, in the direct sun and ideal conditions a little bit yesterday, I was seeing 220 watts come through, and they weren't even the most ideal conditions. So those panels were putting out very close to their rated 240 watts. Right now I've got clouds, of course, rolling through there, but it is charging. But yeah, you could hook up a second string right here and run 480 watts into this, which would charge it up very quickly under ideal conditions. And all of these solar panels, they just, you know, they fold on top of each other. So when I would go to discontinue this, which I will, because no doubt it will be pouring rain at some point this evening, you know, I just take this one, flip it over this way on top of this one, so on all the way down the line, and then it just velcros together. But the stitching around the panels, very, very tight stitching. Heavy duty canvas like material right here. Very, very nice. It just has this feel of being very sturdy and durable. But the only reason I can see would be to not leave this out in the weather is just because of the material. I mean, if this was being absolutely saturated, I think you would develop, you know, mold and mildew. So you'd want to try to avoid that. And like I said earlier this morning, I left this out all morning, had some intermittent showers. Everything did get wet, but I could see good weather was coming and it was going to dry right off, and it did. But yeah, this is heavy duty stuff. I like it. And I'll show you what that looks like folded up real quick. Okay, so all you want to do is I'll show you, it's like you can see how the kickstand, how it just comes out like this, and then you just pull that strap back underneath there, and there's some Velcro there. Lays very nice and flat. And then you do the same thing with the other one, you know, just keep going like this. And again, I guess if you didn't want to charge up with all the panels, you could just, you know, fold up for whatever reason. I don't know why you would ever want to charge less than its full capacity, but you could do it if you only wanted to charge it up with one panel or two panels. But for out here, it's all four all the time. So that's how that goes. And then I'll go ahead and finish folding it up so you can see what it looks like when it's all done. And it just couldn't be easier. And then I'll show you, and then this is the last one here. And then this just Velcros over on the other side. And then you can just simply unplug the cable from the unit, which it is still plugged into the unit. But anyway, just to show you, very, very nice. Very heavy duty. I must say it has a really good heavy duty feel to it. You know, tough material, very well stitched. It's going to hold together for a long time. And then you can just simply wind your cord back up into this pouch and zip it up, and then you've got all of your power cord, solar panel cable, I guess we'd call that. Have it right there. So yeah, very, very easy system to open up and get yourself up and charging no matter where you are really quick. So that's a pretty nice little compact unit there. And then I'll just show you real quick. You're at your campsite. It's like camping here all the time. And just pop the kickstands out. And make sure you undo this flap over here because it does want to shade the panels. And then you can just kind of, adjust it at the exact angle that you want. And right there is just about right for here. Catching full sun. And right now that sun's hitting it directly. It's probably catching close to 200 watts at least. So you get the idea. Well, late in the day and catching 165, 167 watts. So I'm not looking at any threatening rain for a minute, so I'll let that go for a while, catch all the sun I can, and then I'll take it indoors and I'll show you that these other charging ports can be used with a 12 volt DC cigarette lighter style charger, and also an AC power brick that you can plug into your house and charge it up that way. And that's a little quicker. That puts out about 187 watts constant. So I'll show you what that looks like when we go indoors. Okay, I brought this unit inside, and before I hook up the power brick to it, I will show you this is the back of the unit here, and it has a built-in light here, which could be quite useful. And you just press this button once and the light comes on. You press it a second time, it goes to a brighter mode, and then you press it a third time and it gives you a strobe or emergency flash, something alongside of the road or something along that line, and then just one more time to turn it off. And here is the AC wall charger or power brick, whatever you want to call it, and you can see that it's got the same type of plug-in, and it goes into the same place as the solar panels right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug this into the system here. Our wall charger, which is today is a 2000 watt pure sine wave inverter on a battery that is fully charged, and we're just going to take from one to put into the other, which is this one. So let me just plug that up real quick. Okay, so we got it plugged into the inverter, and here we go. You might have heard the little fan kick on just momentarily. That's one of the things I wanted to say about this. It runs extremely quiet, just so quiet. You barely hear it. And I'll zoom in on that a little bit. And you can see right there that is now charging at 186 watts off the AC charger. And I ran this up to full last night before I put the full discharge on it. And I was very close from the solar getting it up to a full charge, but I had to top it off with this just for testing purposes. And then I drain this thing by plugging it into, of course, a full-size refrigerator, which it ran effortlessly. I wasn't able to catch how long it went. I thought I would. It went about 20 hours before I went to sleep, and I couldn't have told you how much longer it went. So we will do that on another time, but here it is. And I'm going to just leave this charged in now until it's fully charged. And it stayed like that all night. Last evening when I was charging it up, finishing up the charge with this, and that's exactly what it pumped in, 187 watts, 186, just fluctuates very little bit, stays real steady. Now that's just another way you can charge that up. And while we're charging that up, here's a look at the third way to charge that up. So in your car, when this was in the back of the car a moment ago when I was showing you. I could have plugged this into the very back where there's a receptacle like that. Same thing, and could plug that in. And now you could do, you can charge with both of these ports so at the same time. So theoretically, if I was able to have a long enough stretch, I could be running this AC power brick wall charger, and I could have the solar panels tied in right here, and it would be within the charging specifications, and you could charge both at the same time. On the other hand, you can also charge and discharge at the same time. So I'm not going to show you guys this. It takes a very, very long time to charge this system up using one of these, but the wall charger or solar panels make pretty quick work of it. And then, like I said, if I wanted to, I could start discharging this now while it's also charging. It does that just fine. This unit has a very, very strong shell build to it. The handle here, extremely sturdy. And this weighs in right at 33 pounds. So it's got some pretty hefty weight. And it's got, let me just make sure, it's got a nice little booklet here, of course. And this is very, very simple to operate, and the instructions are simple as well. And the lithium iron phosphate battery capacity in here is 1488 watt hours. This will take a 4,000 watt surge. What else is pertinent here? It's the IP grade on the unit itself is an IP21, so you would not want to be leaving this out in the weather, of course. And of course, it's got that 1800 watt pure sine wave inverter. So, you know, it's got me thinking a little bit, you know, compared to like, oh, my systems over here that I'm always building. These are coming up now to where, you know, if you get a nice size unit, and I would say go at least with an 1800 watt, then, you know, you've got yourself covered for camping, emergency backup, or, you know, regular household use, which is, you know, we're going to use this in the household here because every day is camping out here. So, yeah, the fact that it comes with everything, you know, I mean, instead of all these breakers and fuses and charge controller and inverter, these units now have come so far that they're really worth considering as opposed to building a system. You know, you can get up to, you know, double this capacity if you wanted to, and then you can really start running your household off of these. So, you know, there's lots of good brands out there now, and OUPES looks to be a very nice brand too. It's the first time I've ever seen one of theirs. We're happy to have done a review on this. We'll show you more things over time how this works. And yeah, there we are, 187 watts pumping into it. But yeah, it's got me thinking now, you know, it's like, wow, you move in one of these comparable to a size over here. And this has a discharge rate of over 3,500 cycles. So you're getting up there with any regular lithium iron phosphate battery. So those are all things to think about. I think if I was going to do it all over again, I would really consider, you know, one of these larger type units as opposed to building a system, just because this is truly the definition of plug and play. Just drop it in place. And, you know, last night when I had this thing fully charged, and of course I plugged it into the refrigerator, and it just ran it like no problem, as it should have. And I am charging this off the sun. It's just in a different way. I'm not using the panels right now. Brought them in because it will be threatening rain here soon, and I don't want to go out there and get wet. But I mean, it's plugged into the solar system, and it's not touching that solar system at all. It's a fully charged battery, and there's the system we're running it off of over there. But yeah, various ways of moving the energy around and using it in different capacities with different devices. All good. Well, thanks as always for tuning in, everybody. Pretty nice little power station. Looking forward to making that jump through a few more hoops. And I will show you guys along the way different ways we think of using that, but it's going to be used and utilized in the household quite a bit and around the property. I really like the idea of just being able to throw that in the back of the truck, go to a different end of the property, and no gasoline needed, and you've got a generator that will run about any kind of a tool you'll need to run. So yeah, and thanks to OUPES for sending this out for a review. We like it, and they do have a very large Prime special going on, like a lot of companies do right now. And this thing has a few $100s slashed off of it right now, as well as the panels. So for those of you who are interested, you know where to look down below. All right. Aloha.